In every fascist state, the first step toward takedown is shutting down your voice. The second step is taking away your weapons. Big tech, the mainstream media, and the Democrat Party have already censured and chipped away your First Amendment, and now they're working on the second. They've failed legislatively, and they've failed in the courts. Shock! The Second Amendment clearly proclaims the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. The United States Supreme Court has repeatedly affirmed the right of Americans to keep and bear arms. As a result, estimates are that 45% of U.S. households have guns, and there are perhaps 400 million guns privately owned in this country. The left refers to gun owners as crazy right-wingers, attributing every mass killing the product of law-abiding gun owners. Their disdain clarified by Barack Obama in 2008, commenting on small-town Midwesterners. They get bitter. They cling to guns or religion, or antipathy to people who aren't like them, slamming both the First and the Second Amendment in one fell swoop. And Joe Biden, well, he may not remember what he said, but during the campaign, he said he supported the Second Amendment. And after the election, he says, "Today, I'm calling on Congress to enact common-sense gun law reforms, including requiring background checks on all gun sales, banning assault weapons and high-capacity magazines, eliminating immunity for gun manufacturers who knowingly put weapons of war on our streets." And Merrick Garland, Biden's Justice Department nominee, says that holding gun manufacturers liable for shootings doesn't raise the Second Amendment issue itself. So what is Biden's plan? Ban the manufacture and sale of assault weapons, high-capacity magazines, ban the import of assault weapons, restrict firearm purchases to one a month, buyback of assault weapons. Query: what if I don't want to voluntarily sell you my assault weapons? Incentives for states to adopt red flag laws allowing for the confiscation of guns based on information from others. Now, I could go on, but you get the drift. They want to take away your guns, and I don't know about you, but it's been pretty hard to buy ammo lately. Curious, when they talk about registering and insuring guns, they're only talking about legal gun owners. I haven't heard boo about the illegal gun owners. Seems the Trump supporters are the evil domestic terrorists, as if we were the ones burning down the businesses and streets last summer. But no matter how you try to demonize legal gun owners, you don't seem to understand. The way to stop gun violence is not to restrict law-abiding gun owners who need to defend themselves like the McCloskeys. You leftists don't have a clue on how to stop gun crime. How about you start going after those who illegally possess guns? Start prosecuting gun trafficking. And how about you clear gun homicides? Instead, you want to cut felons loose with no bail. You and your social justice warriors are more worried about the criminal than the victim. You're more interested in defunding the police than stopping crime, and yet you use mass shootings by a whack job as an all-out effort to take away the guns of law-abiding American citizens. Just cut it out. Your harebrained ideas of registering guns and insuring guns and tracking smart guns are nothing more than an effort to track gun owners for the next step of your agenda. You want to tell me what kind of gun I should have and whether I should even have a gun at all? As if some red flag law is anything other than an effort to target legal gun owners? You want to tell me how much ammunition is enough ammunition and how big my magazine should be? Well, here's my answer, and every other law-abiding gun owner's answer. It's not only no, it's hell no. And I don't need your permission or your sanctimonious condescension as to the reason I should or shouldn't have a gun. I own guns because it's my right. It's my Second Amendment right. And no one in Washington gave me that right. It is a natural right that is confirmed by the very people who founded this nation. And I don't want to hear about your politically correct nonsense or your effort to stop manufacturers from making guns. It's time to stop the demonization of lawful gun owners and start prosecuting illegal gun owners. It's time for you leftists to go after real crime instead of imagined crime. We are unafraid, law-abiding gun owners, and we are not going to allow some leftist, fascist-inspired agenda to overturn our constitutional right to bear arms. And that's my open. Let me know what you think on my Facebook and Twitter, #Judge Jeanine. And if you like my opens, you love my book, Don't Lie to Me,